gonna make
claps for the cue and then says that fucking shit.
Claps for you, bitch.
Clap back right at you, bitch. Like, what the fuck?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tardy to the Party. It's your boy J Sib, and to my left, my boy Kevin Crunch. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man?
How's your week?
It was alright. Pinched a nerve in my neck. It was awesome.
Damn.
Chiropractor, adjusted the hell out of my neck, popped it 10 times. Still kind of hurts, but feels a lot better.
You know what I learned from South Park?
Oh, God.
You can always sue somebody.
Well, I can't. I'm pretty sure I'd lose a lawsuit to Tempur-Pedic. They probably would say, well, we offer 3 different models. You should have probably went with the soft mattress or something. But I don't want to sink into my bed, so I got the middle one, you know. I sink a little bit, but not too much.
And then to my right, of course, Double. How are you, buddy?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm good. It's been a fucking weird week.
Yeah,
That's Storm Sunday.
Oh, dude.
Actually, I didn't even tell you guys this yet. I kept this from you guys all week just so I could bring it up.
Oh, shit.
A portion of my fucking roof ripped off.
God damn.
Oh, shit, dude.
Shit.
Because of the storm?
Yeah, the fucking wind, it's the middle section of the peak of my house. It ripped that portion, bent it backwards over.
Damn.
Did you get a hold of Jake from State Farm? Or Jeff here?
I had Progressives, whoever they got. Flo.
Oh, Flo? She'll hook you up.
I hope so.
As long as she's not on her date with John Hamm.
And then,
Yeah.
That's
She's
why I
already
couldn't
turned him
get
down
any
to
answers
Tuesday.
the
I
other
think
day
you're
when
She
right.
has turned him down, though, yeah.
Yeah, because then what also, icing on the cake, basketball hoop fell in my car.
God
Ooh.
dang, man. You just couldn't catch a break.
So now I got
I slept completely through that storm, which I was told all week by my coworkers. Yeah, it was real loud, so I don't know if that's a good thing. I'm that heavy of a sleeper.
At least if you die, you'll go out in peace.
That, I'll admit, kind of how I looked at it.
Yeah, it is what it
Won't be
is.
terrified because I'll be asleep. Just whatever.
Dude, I still got all the fucking branches in my yard and shit. I have a branch that's fucking probably that big around, just fucking laying around the back of my yard. And I'm like, I don't want to fucking cut it up. I just cut the ones up from a couple weeks ago, fucking back maybe a month ago.
Yeah.
Front yard covered in fucking sticks.
Yeah, I'm
Cut them
fortunate
all
that
down. Not doing it
the
again.
tree that's in I have one standalone tree in my backyard, and I'm fortunate enough that, it's not large enough to where the branches, overhang into my house. So, that's good.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time. I'm going to have one of those fuckers just sticking right out of my roof.
Yeah.
It's going to be, it just a matter of time.
Yeah.
So it's been an exciting week here. But ironically enough, as far as news goes this week, we haven't. I think all three of us don't really have much for this week as far as news goes.
Not really.
No, outside of the.
Real quick, yeah. Honestly, I didn't see much trending in the Birdverse of Twitter.
The Birdverse.
That's what I use. That's my news source, and then I just follow links because I'm lazy. But no, not much. Saw the. And I don't even know where it was at, but there was Loki trailers for season 2 that got leaked online, and then they also had a short from the new Black Panther movie. I didn't watch it because I was at work, so I kind of just didn't watch it. I was like, whatever. I
I
don't
did
watch.
hear about that.
Yeah.
Where they showed more on Namor and stuff.
Yeah, I think he comes into the UN or something is what it sounded like. The Loki trailer was legitimately just a teaser, and it's Loki talking to, spoilers for you, Jordan. So Owen Wilson's character's name is Mobius, right, Jeff?
Yes.
Morbius? Is it Morbin time?
It's not Morbin time yet,
Yet.
but it's coming. It is coming. Dragons are coming.
Oh, God.
They will get here. Don't know that reference? It's South Park. Go watch that show. Anyways,
If you haven't, why are you?
all the trailer really is Loki talking to this now new Mobius, because the whole thing of the first season is that his Sylvie variant basically causes the multiverse in the MCU to happen.
Mm-hmm.
So basically he's now explaining to this new different universe Mobius where he's at, of why Kang is Batman, who they're having to be working for. So that's really all the trailer entailed. Like, it was very quick. Outside of that,
Very worthy watch.
you know, don't know if I should bring it up. I guess we can cut it if we get a little too ridiculous about it. But apparently on the red carpet for D23, a reporter asked Brie Larson about how long she'd be Captain Marvel. And she deadpan-faced apparently responded with, "I don't know. Do they even want me to continue to be the character?" And the reporter replied with, "Come on, don't be modest." And she's like, deadpan basically said, "No, I'm entirely serious. Like, I'm pretty certain, you know, they don't want me to play the character or be in the universe anymore." And it's like, man, well, she obviously hears the people that don't like her and other said internet trolls. So, feel kind of bad. I mean, it's probably a shitty feeling, but we'll see. They'll probably keep her around. I personally...
I don't feel bad at all.
I get that. I personally just am whatever about it. I more think that, Jordan, you've said before that the real problem is the character, not her, like, portrayal of the character.
I think it's, well...
I don't have a problem with her at all.
It's partially how she was written. I don't have a problem necessarily with her acting.
Right. That's all I care about.
Part of her issue, though, is just how she is coming off to the fan base.
In interviews, yes. And that's like where the hate comes from.
That's where like my personal hate has come from.
Same.
It's just like if you're in a superhero role and then you're gonna shit on the community of fans that are what made your character that you were playing what it is today, and are the people that are gonna pay money or the majority of the money to come see your movie. I think it's a pretty ignorant fucking PR move, and it just blows my mind. But that interview where she said that, I actually kind of respected the hell out of her for it.
No,
I was kind of like, I
like
kind of chuckled, and I was like, you know what? Respect.
Well, I mean, about time she finally took an inkling of, hey, do the fans even want me here?
Right.
Do they even want me here? She knows that most people. I can't say most, can't speak for most, but I know a lot of people don't.
Right.
And so the fact that she asked the question instead of getting snarky and firing back like she does on a lot of other issues, I do say I respect the response.
Yeah, because I would say that she's probably has seen these backlashings of how people trash on her, of how, like, look, you can tell she's kind of being an asshole in these interviews, and she's answering in ways that makes her come off like a dickhead, and you can tell that, like, Don Cheadle or Chris Hemsworth in certain interviews, they're like, you can tell they're visibly uncomfortable being in the interview with her. So yeah, she probably responded this way because she at least learned from it. But I'm not really going to sit here and trash her because I don't know her personally. And like Jordan said, I don't have an issue with her acting. I think she does a great job as Carol Danvers. I think the problem is just the character has the Superman problem. So whatever.
Yeah, and I agree with that. The
only OP can't die.
Yeah, and really the only issue that I've ever had with that type of actor or actress in their case is how do we pick and choose what we censor and what we don't? How do we pick and choose who we put in movies that people don't like and who they like and who they don't? Amber Heard, fantastic example. She shit her own bed literally, and she gets pulled from she's pulled completely from the movie. But then again, we have somebody that's physically assaulting people on sets, and we're like, hey, come on in, So it's like that's the only issue I've ever really had with that type of casting.
Gotcha.
We pick and choose who we're okay with, who gets canceled. And who just gets the fucking...
Well, and, okay, yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is. I mean, here we are. We're not the ones casting them, so, All
right, so you pulled it up here.
Yeah, this just released today. I didn't know if you saw it.
I did not see
Empire
that.
has a cover for Wakanda Forever.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people were freaking out over Namor's headdress, because it's honestly pretty fucking badass.
That's a dope-ass
That looks pretty cool.
That is dope.
And Shuri's on the front because she's got the bracelet on, in the photo. So yeah, she is. That's obviously like the leaked Lego set toys, but that's pretty much confirmation she'll be Black Panther.
Yeah, but so is she.
2 Black Panthers.
Honestly, I kind of want them to bring Killmonger back to be Black Panther.
I just am kind of interested in how this is supposed to work because Killmonger destroyed all the plants, right? They gave the last one back to.
Was he a dick?
He
I thought he was a badass dick. So
was a good villain.
Yeah,
Because you could
Give him some
relate.
redemption.
You could relate to him. That's why he was a good villain.
Exactly.
You can relate to him.
grounded.
So that's really it, kind of Marvel. She-Hulk episode. If you want to just quickly review it, I thought it was kind of weak. It's basically she's out at a wedding, and she actually wants to be She-Hulk.
The character in the show thought the episode was weak.
Yeah, I mean, she breaks the fourth wall in the beginning, and she's like, yeah. It's like the Family Guy joke where he's like, yep, it's one of these episodes. You can skip it if you want. Wouldn't even judge you for it. It's like, that's kind of how it definitely was set up from the get-go, and it was interesting just because the character actually wanted to be the She-Hulk in this episode instead of, like, all the others where she's wants to just be human and
Just
go on
Jen.
with her life.
I actually like this episode. This is probably, yeah, it's up there. Like, I think episode 3 and this episode are my 2 favorite episodes of the series so far.
Yeah, episode 3 was really good. I really liked episode 3.
Because it's a self-contained story in one episode, unlike most Disney Plus shows where they just leave everything so open-ended all the time, so you might as well just drop them at once and binge them instead of doing it weekly. This episode and episode 3 are like what I wish this show was just more of. Just self-contained, just be goofy with it, have fun. That like this episode, she played with breaking the fourth wall a little more. I wish they would do more of that in the series. Like, have fun with it. Like, if you're gonna be quirky and fun, embrace it. Like,
yeah, especially
I
since
just wish
that's
they would do
apparently
that
what happens
more.
in the comic.
And so when
Yeah.
it first opened up, and yeah, she made the joke of like, oh, I know, poor timing, and because we were all wanting Daredevil, and she was like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's
inconvenient,
why,
like weddings are, whatever the fuck she said to it, and I was like, all right,
She
so
said, like, basically being inconvenient.
funny enough, like, okay, but at least deliver me an episode that's at least enjoyable. And I somewhat enjoyed it. Like, was it stupid for the reason that what's her name? Titania,
Titania,
yeah.
I think.
which I will say, to a detriment to this episode, it basically full blown, if it hasn't been already stamped, that if she's like the big main arc or baddie as they said she is, which I don't think in the end, obviously, as this episode ended, that she is going to be. They just ruined her completely as a threat. Like,
Oh, she's way stronger than her. Yeah, kick her ass all day.
well, it's just even like what is her overall plan? Nothing.
Get rich or die
Just
trying.
nothing. Just get famous and just try to beat She-Hulk, and that's it. She doesn't have like a grand scheme. Like, the grand scheme is whoever's trying to get her blood.
Yes.
Honestly, a little reminiscent of old shows where, yeah, like we were talking about last week, even when we're talking about how, like you said, She-Hulk begins and ends every week. There's no when's the last time we had a mainstream show that did that? That actually had a beginning and an end. Obviously, they still have trickling effect of Titania and stuff like that going throughout, Abomination, all that. But each episode has a beginning and an end instead of a cliffhanger and or usually a weak ass cliffhanger into the next shit show.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean, when's the last time? I mean, honestly, when you even think of one, I mean, not anymore. The season is the episode. They just break it up into weekly.
Yeah,
releases.
that's my biggest gripe about the Disney Plus shows. It's just they don't follow traditional TV show writing. Like, when you think of like a TV show, like or a series, like you have like a series arc that's overarching the whole series. You'll have season arcs. You might even have arcs within several seasons that then lead into the main series arcs.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also potentially have arcs within seasons, or arcs potentially every episode, depending on what the TV show is. And it's like, Disney Plus's shows are just basically like, yeah, here's our arc. fuck it, let's make it over
Bet you can't guess what
eight,
happens
9
next.
hours. Fuck it. It's gonna be boring for the first half, but yeah, eventually you'll somewhat like it. Maybe, probably not. Fuck you. Give us our money.
Came out on the subscription, bro. Came out on the subscription.
So I will say, like, I actually really enjoyed this week's episode. I've been seeing this week's been getting a lot of flack. I think it's mainly because just Daredevil wasn't there, but
Yeah, I'll admit that that's kind of my annoyance with it is you teased Daredevil in the last episode and you threw this literally like you said. They even make the joke about it from the get go. Like, yep, this is filler. It's cool.
Thanks for
Thanks.
that. Thanks for that. Yeah. No.
Thank you so much for reminding me of that I love Japanese anime shows and just gave me a filler episode. Thank you so much for that. That's awesome. Oh, 8 episodes in your whole season and you literally waste one? Cool. Thanks.
cool.
Yeah.
I think there's been at least one in every series that we've watched since we started.
Oh,
this.
yeah.
At least one.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Must be the mid-season break for the writers.
Nah, fuck it.
It's a week they took lightly at work. They're
How many
just like,
episodes do we need to write? We got 8. Oh, we need 9. Fuck.
So listen, guys.
Let's just make her go to a wedding.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about how lame weddings are.
Right. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's it for Marvel. I was about to say the only thing for DC, which I have like 3 points all around Black Adam and the TV spots that released this week. I don't know if you
I
guys
did
saw
not
these.
realize those released. So
Well, one of them, basically the only thing to really catch from it is from one of them, it ended with Black Adam looking at somebody saying, "There's no one on this planet that can stop me." So from what everybody took from that, of course, was,
oh
oh,
god.
they're teasing Superman. Because, of course, everyone's just like, oh, the next line is going to be, well, good thing I'm not from this planet.
Ooh. And then 20 minutes of those two just fucking fighting each other. Oh god, give it to me.
Dude,
I don't think the fight's going to happen.
I'll be over here bricked up. If that
I think it's just going to be a cameo at the end.
Jesus.
bricked up. Come on.
But,
Tell me you can't say the same.
I mean,
I can. I'm just. It's my hope for the movie. We just have this whole movie. Anti-hero whoops on Justice Society. Other overarching villain. He might kill. You know, just when they said the runtime was like 2.5 hours, it was like 30 minutes, and then this happens, and that whole exchange would be amazing. Just, there's not a person on this planet that can stop me. Good thing I'm not from this planet, bro. And then just 30 minutes of them, like, Man of Steel caliber, flying through cities, beating ass. Like, give it to me, Warner Brothers. Just give it to
I
me.
don't think that's going to happen.
Until Black Adam gives them the people's elbow.
Right. From the top, bro.
From the top. God, I hope it doesn't happen.
And then,
God, I hope it does.
so there was another teaser that got dropped. I think it was 2 days ago. When it first dropped in the morning, Warner Brothers dropped it. Basically, it opened up with like before there were heroes and villains, there was one ruler before them, basically hinting at Black Adam before he got frozen or whatever the fuck happens.
Yeah,
to him.
imprisoned or whatever.
Imprisoned. And so during that, it shows a cut of Batman's Batarang flying and hit the wall, Batfleck's Batarang, and then it shows Henry Cavill's chest with Lois Lane putting her hand on the chest from
Man of Steel, or
yeah, I think it's from Man of Steel. But and then it shows like Aquaman and whatever. But when it transitions over to the villains, the first one showed a cut of Justice League Steppenwolf hammering down the ground.
is it the Justice League or the?
It was Justice League,
Okay,
and then
so
it showed Harley
non-canon.
Quinn. So it was literally like 0.2 seconds of this teaser trailer, and all hell broke loose on Twitter. Everyone was freaking out about it, and then all of a sudden it got taken down. Just poof, it's gone, and then it reemerged. with no Justice League footage in it.
Oh
And
yeah,
Dwayne,
that's
Dwayne
right.
Johnson
Accept it.
retweeted it. And just he had all the same captions below that he did the first time he did. And then at the top it just said changed with a fist. And I was like,
Oh, really?
Really?
interesting.
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
Ruh-roh.
So one of two things. Either they're still going with the Justice League, which is probably what it is. And they realized, oh shit, we can't afford this PR blunder a month before this fucking movie comes out. We need to get that shit out now. Or The Rock saw it, because of probably all the complaining, and went, not my fucking movie, you're not. And made them take him out. And because I know, like, for the most part, The Rock's been like, he's been for the Snyderverse, and especially, obviously, facing off against Henry Cavill's Superman. So he's been a proponent of the Snyderverse, so maybe. But now it makes me just even more nervous for this movie. Because it's like, fuck. I swear to God, if that trash ass fucking... Oh, you're looking it up right now. So yeah, that's the new one. Without
I'm
it.
just looking at the
Like that
tweet.
they're gonna just try to force feed the Joss into our veins.
Okay, so here's the thing: is the potential spoilers? It's with a grain of salt, though. It's rumors, potential leaks. But like I've said for a minute, for the person who gave all the leaks for Multiverse of Madness, which were true, same person said that Amanda Waller would show up with Superman at the very end, Henry Cavill's Superman, but he would be in the blue suit.
So like maybe
So this was a while ago.
Movie.
And this was before the trailer dropped as well, when Amanda Waller showed up in the trailer. So once again, he's been money so far. So here's the thing: the blue suit could mean, yeah, Snyder Cut never happened because the movie ends with him in the black suit.
That's my thought.
So now the thing is, if he does show up in the blue suit, how are the Snyder fans going to react? Because there's going to be a portion of the Snyder fans are going to be like, "Fuck you! This means the Snyder Cut didn't happen." Which to me, honestly, if he fucking shows up at all, blue suit or not, I'm going to be ecstatic.
I don't really care.
Would it be a little cooler to me if he was in the black suit? Yes, but also from a filming perspective, it's going to look a little weird when you have Black Adam in the black suit with a gold lightning bolt, and you have black suit Superman with the silver S.
Well, and
It's just not going to pop like you want it to on the screen.
Well,
You're going to want to see black and blue, so there's
and
some
what's
contrast.
wrong? What's wrong with an off-camera, like maybe this over time after
Well-
the whole Steppenwolf event? He just makes this blue suit again.
Well, then that's
I mean,
and that's the thing
the
too.
thing
It's
in
like
this-
you don't. And this point when he's, when Black Adam's resurrected, and if he does show up, if Superman does show up, yeah. How long after Justice League has this happened?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't keep the black suit forever.
Right.
He puts it back on
Well, even
after
in
he
the
is
Snyderverse-
resurrected to get his power back as quick as possible from the sun, because
Yeah.
black absorbs the light. And,
So it's
Well, and-
circumstantial type of
And
thing.
even in the Snyder Cut, like he walks down the hallway and they Easter egg you with a whole bunch of different suits that he's worn throughout the comics. So
yes. So
It's not
I
right
I
there.
won't. To me, if he shows up the blue suit, I will still be like, okay, there's still hope that the Snyder Cut is legit. Would it? Yeah.
he's gonna show up with the blue suit with the red underwear. They're gonna make a joke at its expense, and then we're gonna have a sweet ass fight for 20 minutes.
Well, and even then, if you look at the self-contained nature of the movie itself, like if you have some people that come in that weren't part of the whole Snyder and Justice League debate, they see Superman, blue suit, like that.
Yeah, it's
You know what I
way
mean?
yeah
So, like, that's
way
like-
more iconic.
Yeah, like
Yes.
if we see that he comes in a blue suit, our conversation is, "Oh, so did it not happen?" Somebody else comes in and he's not in the blue suit. They're like, "Why is Superman in a black fucking suit?"
Yeah, we sit in the theater and we're just like, wrong. This is wrong.
wrong.
That's it. I will be happy as long as it's Henry Cavill and he doesn't have a CGI upper lip. I'll be happy. That's all I care about. I don't care what color suit he is.
So you're saying you don't want him to have a CGI third eye? Okay. So that's what you're saying.
I'm still trying to decide which effect is worse, that third eye or the fucking floating head in Love and Thunder. And what's sad is I heard they redid it from the theatrical release.
They
Like,
did.
They did.
And I
They
still
did.
I can't make up my mind which one's
did.
worse.
Straight up, the
I think the second one's worse just because they tried to make it better,
yeah.
and I don't think they accomplished
the
that.
original.
So it's the
my
fact of
ass
like you
off.
got a second try
I was
and you
laughing.
still didn't
I
know
was
it.
laughing my fucking
Dude,
ass
the
off.
original
Oh my
cut of the
God.
shot, it's focused in on his head and the background's blurry, like the dude's in a damn Zoom meeting trying to mask his background. Like, so they cleaned it up.
It's incredible.
Looks worse. It's hilarious.
Oh God, that's so fucking funny.
All right.
Jesus.
Do we move on to the juicy review of the week?
Yes.
The big old drop of the week.
The drop.
The reason that fucking we gotta wait on Bad Batch season 2.
For real.
And Kevin so far thinks it's well worth the wait. Let me tell you, no spoilers. Well, spoilers for the show probably, but no spoilers on what Kevin's opinion is. He loves it.
Well, and it's interesting because initially it takes away the spectacle, which is something that as Star Wars fans we're not used to. There's not as much spectacle and like fucking fireworks going off and fucking ships flying everywhere and fucking giant fucking starfighter fights. It's completely normal.
Grounded.
And grounded and dark and ominous, which is super fucking hot, but it's just not what people were. I don't think it's what anybody outside of people that were wanting the espionage were expecting.
I'll tell you right
this
now.
is what I was wanting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I'll tell you right now.
I'll say my opinions after you guys. You guys are the Star Wars buffs. I want to hear you guys deep dive, and then I'll just come in and just.
Well, I'll just say real quick that I'll tell you right now, I agree with Jeff that I did not expect in the first minute of the show our heroes walking through essentially the red light district to go into a brothel.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Hell
so Star Wars getting real adult up in here.
Seriously,
Hell yeah.
100%. And like you say, like when you say deep dive, like this is such a unique opportunity for Star Wars fans again because there's so many new faces. I mean, I'm learning these characters. These are brand new, most of them.
All these characters are, other than Andor, all these characters are, yes, brand new. And I think that why I'll say now thinking about it, why I kind of have received on it so not as high as the other shows that have come out is due to that fact that I'm just so used to like, Easter eggs and this character's from this and it ties to this and like this show's not doing it so far in the first 3 episodes.
So the creators apparently came out and said when asked about like fan service and Easter eggs, they basically were just like, we didn't make the show with the purpose of like fan service or Easter eggs, basically.
Good.
Well, I can tell after the first 3 episodes because
Fantastic.
I did like, the planets were not recognizable. All the characters are completely brand new. I thought Skarsgård's character was in Rogue One. He's not, so I confused him with the other general that's actually in Rogue One. His character's all completely brand new too, but
I did the same thing last week. Remember when I was talking about referencing?
yeah, you said Blast from the Past, and I'll admit, like watching it midway when he's showing up, I'm like, all right, what's this character's name? And I'm like looking on IMDb on Rogue One, and I'm like, where the fuck's he at? Where's he at?
Yeah, Luthen.
And then I had to Google it, like Stellan Skarsgård, and they're like, who is Luthien Rail or whatever his name is? And I thought, I thought he was in Rogue One. I haven't watched Rogue One in a while, and I just mistaken. But anyways, back to the show. I mean, it opened up pretty dark.
I mean,
then
crazy dark.
Stayed pretty grounded.
Well, and I liked how they also like introduced us to like how we're gonna be interacting as fans with the stormtroopers and officers and Empire and how prominent it is. I like how he says this is a company town. I like
right.
I love that line.
So that was cool. Awesome. Was that like this? Company has their own security, and then like you got this stickler for rules and
Boy
Scout that wants to get this team together to go get Cassian and turn him in, and the guy that he has help him is also just super Boy Scout, and he's like,
Oh my god, he's insufferable too, isn't he?
well, I just thought it
can't
was
stand
I thought it was cool though how he's like, the first step to all this is to have companies with good security task forces are the frontline defense of the empire. He says something along like those lines
Yeah.
to where they're like, you're like, okay, like this company's just in bed with Imperials, and they don't want the empire around, and they want the empire out of their business, but they realize too that they have to be like a governing force and like cops, if you will.
Yeah, I think that since they're so far out of the reach of the Empire, like they're essentially like an off branch kind of paramilitary version of like the Imperial security forces.
That's
like,
what I took
Yeah.
it as. It almost took it like it was like a planet that like it was owned by the Empire, but they still allow the planet to run themselves, so they kind of have their own military-esque division that helps police it. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they still answer to the Empire. They
Yeah,
just
okay.
kind of let them be free for the most part.
Like a presence,
'cause
but
they're-
not a force there on the planet.
Was it a mine? Or was that the other planet that was a mining planet? Or are they both mining planets?
I think
For
it's
the
I think
Empire?
it's the same planet. It's just different areas of it. Because the big cities, it looks like fucking cyberpunk shit, like in the
Yeah.
big cities, and then as soon as you're out, it's like barren shit.
Yeah.
It's like, so no, it's pretty cool, and I like how. And that's the weird thing is I was expecting them. I thought this was gonna be Imperial, and that's why I was so like sold on them being fully Imperial, because of like how he acted with his superior in that office kind of setting when he's arms behind the back, not moving at all. Everything he says is fucking stupid. To the to his commanding officer, everything's stupid. Shut up. Go away. Stop talking.
Mhm.
It's pretty par for the course. Officers talking to the regs.
Yeah.
I guess I'll just insert. I was actually a big fan of how the series opened up.
Yeah.
I really liked how like dirty, grounded and grungy it was,
Mhm.
and I really, really liked the scene when Andor leaves the brothel, and the guards follow him and basically get him at gunpoint. Hey, this is a stick up. Really
Yeah, you
fucking
got it.
liked that scene. I feel like that scene was really important for the show going forward. Because what has been a fucking joke in Star Wars, even among fans? Blaster accuracy, especially when it comes to fucking stormtroopers and how big of a joke it is.
Mhm.
That scene was really important for the show because it showed, honestly, like one of the ugliest like hand-to-hand fights. It was just an ugly interaction, but that fucking first blast of that blaster fucking meant something. Like it had some fucking like weight to it. And then especially like how he headbutts the guy, and I don't know if he killed him with the headbutt or if he fell and then hit his head again and then died or whatever.
I think that's what happened.
But even just when like like at tense moment, he's like, oh, we'll go in together, and he fell. We were being too rough with you, and we were playing with you, and it was an accident or whatever. And then he just thinks about it, and it's just like, nah, fuck that, bang! And I was like, fuck yeah! I was like, let's go.
Well, and dude, the thing is like it's that turns a page, because you see, a lot of people, and that's the thing. It's so weird, is like knowing Rogue One and what happens, seeing how he is there, seeing in the beginning how dark and ominous he still is, but you saw like how much it changed him when that officer was dead.
Yeah,
and
and
like how shook he was.
And that's another thing. It was just, yeah, I really liked that moment of like he was in denial at first almost. It was just like, no, he's playing. No.
Like, what do I do now? What do I do now? And then he just made that instant decision. This is what I do.
Yeah, but it also like hammers home like who he is. Like he's just a survivor.
Yeah.
And he does whatever he can to survive.
Yeah,
Which
absolutely.
is what he says in Rogue One.
Yeah.
That's
Some of us just decided to do something about it. A lot of us have lost stuff. Lost people.
Yeah, but I just really like that scene. I think it was really important also for the tone and just how blasters will or hopefully should be treated in this show. Because I don't know if you guys ever noticed, like there'll be movies where there's constant gunfights and like really like throughout the movie, like a gunshot doesn't mean anything, but then there's other like more quiet movies where then a gun gets introduced, and that one gunshot that happens, or very few that do happen, like carry so much weight because usually when it pops off, something fucking big happens. So like that's what I felt like in this scene. Like it was like, okay,
Here
we're gonna be a little smarter with it. We're not gonna just come out guns blazing. Like we're gonna choose these wisely and purposefully.
Well, and to that,
I really appreciated that.
and to your point too, to expand upon that point, look at where you see the inaccuracies with the rifles. The blaster rifles, blaster pistols. You see them in droids. You see them in the Empire. You see them in large batches where they don't give a shit about training these guys. They're warm bodies to go out there and just hopefully shoot in the right direction a little bit and hit something. Maybe, just maybe.
Cavalry fire.
But then you look at Cad Bane. You look at Boba Fett. You look at Han Solo. You look at all the individuals that have worked on their craft. Obviously, maybe not the only reason they're doing that, but even in this instance, you see, purposeful use of a gun for one purpose. It's not a statement where you got 1,000 stormtroopers out there blindly shooting and might as well have their eyes closed. When it goes down to like the individuals, somebody with a pistol actually means something.
It just feels, to put it simply, it just feels more visceral.
Fuck yeah.
I like that.
Hell yeah. So, and what did you think about? And I don't want to jump ahead too far. They all kind of blended together for me, but a little bit of his history, where he came from.
So that's like kind of where I got an issue. They talk about he comes from this planet Kenari, and they say how it's in the mid-rim. And I'm like, so the mid-rim of the galaxy that they're all in. So
that's the mining planet we're talking about.
My thing,
One
Ferrix
of
is the
them,
mining planet that he's on present time.
Yes.
But Kenari was a planet that obviously they were primitive. The Republic found it, decided to mine there, and then I guess when the Empire took over, they were like, yeah, the air is toxic to most alien species, like, we're not gonna mine there. Anyways, I just didn't care too much that they were like a primitive culture on this planet because it's in the mid-rim, and it's like, well, if you're in the mid-rim of this entire galaxy that's super futuristic with spaceships and laser swords and blasters, why do we have this random planet where they have no advanced civilization at all, it seems like? I don't know. Like, it just didn't sit that well with me that they said how specifically, like, oh, it's a mid-rim planet. And they probably want to get away from the whole cliche of, like, oh, it's in the outer rim. Way out there, outer rim, secluded, blah, blah, blah. But it's just, for me, just not what I'm used to. And I just thought, well, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, because if it's in the middle, it's like, well, wouldn't the Republic still kind of get out to it then, you would think? Or,
well, so
which maybe that's what it is of why the ship was crashing there, because they were trying to expand outward to mine spice, and just
partly
I don't know.
I was gonna say yes, but at the same time, that's what's so tricky, and that's what I think they kind of wanted, in a way, whether they wanted to or not. They did expose the reality that there's outer rim planets that are full of people. There's most of the inner rim is
that still have like advanced technology, like Tatooine, for example.
Well, right.
It's crap, but they still have like tons of scrap parts and blasters and all this stuff there. So that's why I was just like, yeah, it's kind of goofy saying it's from the mid rim, and then they're basically running around with sticks and they're speaking a native tongue, and
if you think about Yavin, and how it's in the thick of everything, Forest Moon Endor and all these places. There's pockets, because it's such a huge universe. There's so many systems, and there's systems that they even talk about in the main trilogy. They're like, these are uncharted systems, and they're right.
Okay, I mean, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good counterpoint.
Yeah,
I didn't think of that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's, I mean, like, I don't know if they did it on purpose per se, but more or less just trying to go out there and say, hey, you know, it isn't blasters, power, you know, shields and things everywhere. You know?
Yeah.
But then again, also thinking timing wise, when is this? And I guess I've never looked into that. When does this take
Isn't this
place?
5 years
This is
before
Rogue One.
5 years. Okay, so 5 years before Rogue One.
And I would say the flashbacks of when he's like, what, a teenager? Would you say?
Young teenager,
Yeah.
young teen, maybe preteen almost, maybe like 12, 13.
That's
So
what I
that's
thought it was,
probably-
like, maybe 12 or maybe.
I'd say that, like I said, like, I mean, well, the woman that, like, takes him from the planet, she even said, what do you think the Republic's going to do when they find them and they've killed an officer? Pretty sure she says Republic. So, like, at the flashbacks are before events of Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, because also where he's at, you know, if
I
the
could
show
be-
is 5 years before, and he's an adult now.
he's an adult that looks like he's in his, like, he's almost in his 40s. I don't really know his age. That's the other thing.
That's a good idea.
I was trying to figure out, like, really the timing of all this. But,
he's looking for his sister.
right, that's the whole thing, is he's looking for his sister.
Cassian Andor is 21 years old during the events of Andor episodes 1 through 3.
But I swear she
I thought it
said
was four.
Republic, though.
Total High School Musical type shit.
Yes.
Casting a 30-something-year-old to play an 18-year-old.
Right.
You know,
Good lord.
yeah.
But I swear, though, she said Republic, like, when he's banging around that ship because he's mad because the officer shot the girl. Which, that other part was funny to me. Not fun. I shouldn't say it was funny because it's messed up. But it's not funny. But I thought it was like the guy wakes up from being on. Did she knock him out? The girl that went down there.
No, he was already there.
He was already unconscious, right?
She poked him with the stick
So
to see if he
yeah,
was
and then he gets up. Oh, and I started blasting. It's like what the hell? So, but again, I thought that she said that they were Republic. Maybe I just probably need to go back and watch it again to catch it to see if she actually said Empire. I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, if you think about it, shoot, just as much as the Empire was disliked by some and liked by some,
Same thing with the Republic.
same thing. So it's very
They touch on
very-
that in Clone Wars.
Yeah, very likely. Very
Yeah.
likely.
But no, it's fine to jump around because I mean we're not going to sit here and deep dive this because I, like you, Jeff, feel like it kind of all blended together up until like the third episode with like the last 15 minutes.
The breakaway.
What do you mean? What do you mean? I thought each and every one of these episodes had a clear and decisive arc, beginning to end each episode. I didn't feel like this 3 episode could have been released as a movie. I don't know what you're talking about. Although I swear to God, if they follow this fucking trend for the rest of the weekly episodes, because I don't know if you guys.
I mean,
That's probably why you feel this way, because when episode 1 ended, it didn't really feel like anything ended.
Yeah.
Just felt like, oh, time for episode 2.
just we're taking a break.
Yeah.
yeah.
Dude. I mean,
Well, and that's like honestly like why I.
But 3 felt like it had an ending to it.
Yeah.
Like it felt
Yeah.
like the arc had ended. We're going into the next one.
well, and maybe this is, and honestly, like we talked about so long, you know, we talk about series that should be a movie, you know, like Obi-Wan. You know, Obi-Wan, we all agree it should have been a movie, and we all wanted it. It should have been a trilogy. as far
Apparently,
as I'm
there's
concerned.
a fan cut out there of Kenobi, where a fan went out there and just edited it down to a movie, and apparently it's nice.
I'll fucking watch that shit.
I'll watch that shit.
I literally
shit
thought
out
about it.
of
I was like, I might go back and watch
Yeah,
that.
I'll watch the
instead.
shit out of it.
I guarantee episode 4 of that series was nowhere in the damn movie.
No shit. I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is.
No,
what
that's
it
the
is.
problem, Jeff.
No.
It's not what it is.
No,
This is
it's-
bullshit.
It's not that. It's just maybe, just maybe, and this is coming from a Star Wars fan. maybe this 3-episode release was strategic. Just maybe.
No, I agree.
I mean,
I
for
think
that
they.
reason.
think so.
I
don't
think
know.
I think what happens is that, like, definitely with what Jordan was saying, they get in the writer's room and they more write it in the fact of, like, this should be a movie, but we're going to make it a television show that's like 6 to 8 episodes. And then they film it, do whatever, present it to the powers that be that are basically give the final okay to distribute it out, we'll release it. They watch it and they're like, yeah, you better probably drop 2 or 3 episodes on that first day, because this first episode's what
It's a handshake.
I legitimately, like, with this show, just kind of sat there after when the first episode ended. I kind of just sat there and was
He
like,
texted me.
what did I watch?
Yeah.
It's like, what did I watch?
No.
What was that?
No, honestly,
Like, you know?
I'm right there with you, man. I'm right there with you,
Yeah.
and I, dude, you could spoon feed me fucking Ewoks just hanging out, and I'll fucking watch this shit. like that's just who I am as a Star Wars fan. You know, I love it all, but I was the same sentiment. You know, at the very end, I was like when I opened up with this wasn't what people were expecting. It wasn't that I wasn't expecting it. It's just I didn't know what to expect because we've never gotten anything else.
Mhm.
I mean, we've gotten the spectacle that is Star Wars universe, not the behind the scenes dark in the ditch, leaving the dudes dead out behind the bar.
Mhm.
Star Wars.
And I think that's why maybe I'm a little bit higher on it, is because from the trailers, that's, yeah, I'll say I kind of, that is what I expected, and that's what I wanted, because I personally, I mean, look at me, I'm a fucking DC fan. I like darker, more grounded stuff. Like, that's just, you know, I'm a pathetic, depressed human being, guys. I like watching other depressed, you know, pieces of shit. All right, but I really liked it. I just think it was just cool. And yeah, we're so used to the space cowboy fantasy world. It's just cool to get a different filter on it, just in general.
Yeah.
It's just cool to see a new adaptation of
Yeah,
Star Wars.
and
Like,
I-
it's not necessarily a new adaptation, but it's just nice to see it in a different light. And yeah,
Yeah, and it's cool because we already know how he fits. You know, like, I mean, we've all seen Rogue One. You know,
Mhm.
as our, you know, if most of you have, then you'll see. We already know how he fits in what we're used to.
Mhm.
You know, we already know that he fits. You know, we
True,
already, you know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
so that's why it's cool that we can go back and backtrack, and then, like you say, take the grounded, dark nature of this character, expand upon it, spoon feed it to the Star Wars fans, and they're like, oh, this isn't just some offshoot, you know, because if you took some character that they didn't know and tried to do this with them, good luck. Good luck. I mean, because we already know how Cassian fits.
Mhm.
And I think that's why they're able to do what they're doing with the show currently.
I will say, like, Skarsgård seems like he's gonna be
His
awesome.
character seems amazing.
Seems
Awesome
cool
in the
as
show.
fuck. Cool as fuck. High society. You can see by the way he's dressed that he's just not in his element.
It's
right
going to
there.
be interesting to see what his motivations are throughout the series, I think.
Yeah, and I can kind of foreshadow just by the interaction, you know. Like,
He's definitely the character that'll get him to the rebellion, or like help,
100%.
because he's basically like there, and that was the pivotal part to me of like, okay, this was awesome, was their exchange, and then like he's like, he basically kind of says to him, I didn't really come here for this part.
Yeah.
I came here to meet you because you got this really hard to get part. And he's like, how'd you do it? And I loved it just because Cassian, like, correctly says the biggest looming weakness of the Empire is like, they're arrogant. They
Mhm.
think that because they're so large in number, they ignore an outsider like me who dresses in disguise and walks right in and steals their crap because they're so arrogant. They think that no one would have the gall to do so. And that is like the thing about the Empire, that if you notice, I mean, even in the Kenobi series, the girl dresses up as one, and it's like you've got all these people that apparently everyone's faceless. You don't recognize faces.
New Hope.
New Hope, same thing. I mean,
Rogue One.
Right. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's kind of like Cassian was like, yeah, it's easy. I can do it all day because they're so like bullheaded.
Yeah, no,
And
I
so
love that line that you just referred to too. It's
Mhm.
like I think that's the most. That's the cool. I don't know if something beats it, I'll be impressed. But I love that they're so fat and satisfied. And
Yeah.
it says, and they and it's like they would never anticipate somebody like me standing amongst their in their house. That's fucking so cool to me. Like him as a character being such a bad motherfucker anyway.
That's also cool because it's kind of like almost kind of like the theme of the show in a way too.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's about this poor, rundown society, and Empire looks down on them, thinks they're basically worthless, and we're gonna get to see somebody who comes from that rise, and well, we've already seen him complete that journey, but we get to actually see how he becomes, the hero that he is at the end of the day.
I mean,
and where he came from. So.
I mean, think about it. I mean, without Cassian Andor, Death Star is a success.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how pivotal of a character are we dealing with? And that's why, at first, I was like,
Shit.
And initially, I was like, I mean, fuck, dude, who knows what fucking Star Wars universe would look like without Cassian Andor? But one other thing that he said that kind of piqued my interest there that I didn't even think about until just now is when he said that he wasn't there for the part. Those parts, I mean, they're worth what, 40, 60,000 credits or whatever.
Whatever he said.
The fact that he doesn't need that shows me and foreshadows how far the rebellion already is at that point. Because they're not scrounging for these parts, even if they're as valuable as it is. He doesn't need them.
But right now they are mainly working in like very secluded,
they're in the shadows,
shadows, and they're operating in small forces, because that's the whole part about Star Wars Rebels, is that we have these small forces that aren't connected at all. They don't know that all of each other exists, and there's really one informant that goes to that's basically going to Mon Mothma and all the senators that are really in charge of the whole operation.
Mm-hmm.
Until obviously in Rebels, when they're like, well, let's stop doing that and band together and show our numbers so then the galaxy can get behind us. But
yeah, no, it's a great foreshadowing for things to come. I think the first 3 episodes set a tone for what we can expect, and also some things that might surprise us, because it surprised the hell out of me. I never in my life thought that he'd be asking about a hooker in the back, or
I will say it was in the very beginning, but it really did set the tone of how grounded and actually dark this is kind of going to be. It's like I said, Star Wars is known for family friendliness, and you have you take your kids to it, and this show is straight up he walks into a whorehouse and he's looking for one specific female,
and he has that interaction with the dude across the bar, you're encroaching on my woman type of thing.
Right.
That's not
weirdo
a Star Wars encounter that you're expecting. The closest we get is Han and Lando over Leia. That's the closest we get to it in any of the movies. It shook me in the beginning.
Even in Jabba's palace thing, I mean, they're at least alien women, so
right. There's no connection with those.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully great things to come.
Oh, I'm thoroughly impressed. More than I thought I would be, but more intrigued than I am usually, than giddy about the Star Wars that I usually get. Each week I'm like, fuck.
I'm more more intrigued than I am anything else, just because I just want to just see how this develops.
Yeah, for the first time in a long time, you don't know what to expect.
Right.
In the Star Wars universe.
So that's kind of exciting.
It is. It's interesting.
What was that? What's that thing that Skarsgård has? Is that supposed to be a vibroblade, or is that what they're called, vibroblades?
I don't
Because it doesn't look like one, at least from the KOTOR games. It doesn't look like a vibroblade.
I don't know if I would.
But it like retracts and extends like a lightsaber would, which I also don't remember vibroblades doing, and maybe they do. But
vibroblades, they come in different forms too. But then again, it didn't look like one. As like you said,
Yeah.
KOTOR, it doesn't look like one.
it
So
looked like a Poke Boy.
yeah, like a vibro shank, a vibro shank. Nah, I don't know exactly what it was, but
I don't know, that just caught me off guard for a reason. There was a lot of stick weapons in this show.
probably a lot of improvisation. You know, I mean, on the character part.
Said, dude, their primitive, like,
That shit
Drew.
was funny as hell. Lit him up.
Dude,
Lit him
I
up.
Oh,
forgot,
yeah.
dude. They just lit
That's
his ass.
right.
Lit
yeah.
him up. Dude, and he's just sitting there. slowly drop. Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, you know, that product of the time period that they're trying to shoot for, or whatever, you know, within that planet and society. But a lot of improv on the people that do have weapons at that time. Weren't carrying around loaded blasters unless you had a purpose. You know, so no,
Yeah, I'm pretty excited going forward.
All right.
Actually, yeah, I wanted to ask you this too. That preview that you saw when you went to go watch Rogue One again, was it 12 minutes?
something like that.
Was that 12 minutes in these first 3 episodes, or is that
Oh,
still
yeah.
to come?
It was the scene in with the chains dropping.
Oh,
So I
okay.
got that. That's how I was introduced to it. So like even more so when it first came on, I'm like, how the fuck does this fit? Like, you know, like how does this fucking
How do we
fit
get from
somewhere?
here to there?
Yeah, and I'm like, because you saw Skarsgård, you saw the interaction, you kind of saw him talking him up. I'm here for you. You saw all that, but I'm like, that's not the type of even like the shots on screen, just not the same. Like, just completely. I mean, obviously it's the lighting, which is movie magic, but it's not what I was expecting whatsoever based off what I saw in the theater.
Oh, I'm also a huge fan of the new droid.
Oh,
I wrote down, I don't know if you guys agree. Really dig the new droid. Feels like the most personality we've ever gotten from a droid. Like, and I mean from both vocally and just like kinetically, just how he like. They did a
Shows
great
emotion.
job of his design and being able to give off so much emotion for just how kind of like his design isn't necessarily like simplistic, but it kind of is at the same time. Like it's kind of just like a square cylinder, but they get so much emotion out of it.
Yeah, it looks like an
I
astronaut.
I don't know. I was like, yeah, this might be a new favorite droid here. I don't know, man. He's pretty fucking awesome so far.
Dude, and you know what's funny is I think that's more like a new Star Wars thing too, because obviously we get a ton from R2 in a different way, you know.
Mhm.
But what's that robot? And I know, both of you, I know. In Rise of Skywalker, when that little green.
All right, I'm out.
I know, but the Sith assassin's little droid that's on his ship, the one that rolls around and kind of has like the duck beak on it.
Why can't I remember?
I can't remember its fucking name.
Kevin legitimately said, "All right, I'm out."
No,
I was like, "Fuck that."
no,
movie.
we're good.
Dio.
Let me see that pic, dog. Oh, that annoying fucker.
Oh, that yeah.
But tons of emotion.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
Mhm.
true.
scared. You
Yeah.
know, he's scared. No thanks. He goes, no thank you. Just dips out, and then she's like, oh, he's scared. You know, and I was like, fuck you mean scared? He's a fucking robot. Like. You know, 3PO, like, you know, they always make him making all his noises and stuff, like he's like some android, you know, that has feelings and stuff, but that's just the comic relief. It's a fucking droid.
Mhm.
Roger, you know, like
Roger.
Roger. It's fucking, it's a droid. But that's new Star Wars. They're kind of putting ways to make us feel like they're people,
Mhm.
you know.
All
That's
right.
true.
Well,
Anything else for Andor?
no.
Just excited.
I'd say, as far as ratings go, if you guys actually give a shit, episode 1's 7, episode 2 7, episode 3 7.5.
I agree.
Yeah, I would,
Probably that's probably a little high for me, even on the first two. But
That's
yeah,
probably
I
high
mostly
for you.
agree.
I would say probably 7 on the first two. I would say 7.5, 8 on the third.
Mm-hmm.
If
So
had to-
I was I almost gave the third one an 8, but I was like, let's leave room for growth.
Yeah.
All right. So, short week. Sorry about that. Nothing interesting really came out this week, but we got a lot of bangers of TV shows going on. We might, since we're recording on Friday this week, it's why Rings of Power didn't get done yet. So maybe next week we'll have 2.
Yeah, depending
Yeah.
on what day we meet up.
Yeah, so if we meet on Saturday, we'll probably have 2, but if we meet on Friday again, we'll probably just have this week's.
Have you gotten into House of Dragon yet or no?
No.
No?
No, have not. I actually started watching The Boys season 3 last
Nice.
night. I watched the first episode and then I went to bed. So I'll be getting on that grind.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw a man go into another man's.
Just shut the hell up. Wait, next time. Goddamn.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in this roller coaster right now of like on the grind of 8 different fucking shows.
Dude, there's so much shit right
so
now.
much shit right now.
I have so much stuff in the queue that I want to start and I just don't have time to.
I swear.
Yeah.
I swear. It's hard enough. Like, I watched last week's House of Dragon, half of it last night and half of it when I got home from work today, because I'm like, I wonder if we talk about it, you know? Like, but it's, damn, it's just, there's a lot going on right now, but this is our breather, I think.
Yeah, finally we got a fucking breather.
It's a little bit of a
we'll need it.
breather, you know? I mean, and we sprinkled in Bad Batch on top of everything else that was going on for the last few weeks, so.
Yep.
So we've been drowning in content. Drowning.
So,
Which is a
yeah.
good thing, and it can be a bad thing.
So until next time, of course, this has been Tardy to the Party. You can obviously find us on YouTube, podcast services, and of course, find us on Twitter, official T3P. Until next time, it's your boy J-Sib, as always, joined by Kevin Crunch.
See you later,
I was gonna
everybody.
say goodbye to the people, Kevin. you rude ass. Next time. And of course, the Bull.
Until next time.
Later, skaters.